So hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the Schrödinger wave equation for the hydrogen atom. To fill Schrödinger wave equation, that is Hamiltonian of psi equal to E psi with a bit of life, we need to add the specifics for the system of interest, okay, like hydrogen atom or hydrogen like atom. So hydrogen atom consists of a nucleus, okay, and just one electron, right? There is one nucleus and one electron. Nucleus can be bigger than just a single proton, okay. Like if we have hydrogen atom, or even helium plus ion is just like hydrogen atom, okay. These are known as hydrogen like atoms. Even lithium 2 plus ion, they have same type of Schrödinger wave equation, except that their Z value changes. For hydrogen atom, Z is 1. For helium plus ion, Z is 2. And for lithium 2 plus, Z is 3. Rest part remains same, okay. So they have exact same solution as hydrogen, okay. Now first of all, let us describe the potential energy. Potential between two charges is best described by a Coulomb term. Potential energy V, that can be best described as, see, V in terms of R. Let us say this is the nucleus having charge plus Ze and electron with charge minus E, okay, and distance between them is R. Now capital M is the mass of the nucleus, and small m is the mass of electron, okay. So potential energy is equal to minus Z E square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R, okay. R is the distance between the charged particles, that is one nucleus and other electron, and epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space. It is permittivity of the free space, and Z is the charge on the nucleus, right? Ze is the charge on the nucleus, okay. And Z is different, like Z is equal to 1, as I said earlier, for hydrogen. Z is equal to 2 for helium 2 plus ion. Z is equal to 3 for lithium 2 plus, helium plus and lithium 2 plus ion. They are called hydrogen like atoms. They are called hydrogen like atoms. And what is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of, it is permittivity of free space, or we can say vacuum, okay. Means there is no need of relative permittivity. Relative permittivity is not needed, okay, as the space inside the atom is empty. The space inside the atom is empty. Now, when system consisting of two masses, there are two masses, so we can define the reduced mass. So we can write, when the system consisting of two masses, we can define the reduced mass. Do you know what is reduced mass? You know, one has capital M mass, other has small m. So reduced mass 1 upon mu equal to 1 upon capital M plus 1 upon small m. That is m into capital M upon into small m, and it is small m plus capital M. That implies reduced mass is equal to small m into capital M divided by small m plus capital M. Okay, where capital M is the mass of the nucleus and small m is the mass of the electron, that you know. Now the hydrogen atom's Hamiltonian is, can you write hydrogen atom's Hamiltonian? So hydrogen atom Hamiltonian, it is, yes, minus h square upon 8 pi square. Instead of m we write mu now. Okay, this mu is equivalent mass, a point located at the center of the gravity of the system. Okay, minus z e square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r. So this is hydrogen atom's Hamiltonian. Okay, or you know, this h bar is equal to h upon 2 pi. Okay, so it can also be written as minus h bar square upon 2 mu Laplacian operator minus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught into r. Right? Now Schrodinger wave equation of the hydrogen atom in polar coordinates is Schrodinger wave equation of the hydrogen atom in polar coordinates. So in polar coordinates it is minus h bar square upon 2 mu 1 upon r square partial differential with respect to r, इसका r square into partial differential with respect to r, partial differential of psi with respect to r, right, plus 1 upon r square sin theta partial differential with respect to theta, इसका sin theta into partial differential of psi with respect to theta. Okay, plus 1 upon r square sin square theta. Okay, 1 upon r square sin square theta sin square theta second partial differential of psi with respect to phi square. Okay, minus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r into psi equal to E psi. Okay, so this is Schrodinger wave equation of hydrogen atom in polar coordinates. So let us separate them into radial, separate the radial part from the angular part. Okay, now see 1 upon r square partial differential with respect to r of r square into partial differential of psi with respect to r plus 1 upon r square sine theta partial differential with respect to theta of sine theta into partial differential of psi with respect to theta, okay, plus 1 upon r square sine square theta or second partial differential of psi with respect to theta, sorry with respect to phi, right, plus now this whole part h bar square upon 2 mu and minus sign, so means we multiply this whole thing by 2 mu upon h bar square with minus sign, okay, so it become plus 2 mu upon h bar square and take this part also on this side, so it is minus e, so minus plus, it is e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r psi equal to 0, right. Now using the separation variables, we are going to separate radial part from the, yes, radial part from the angular part. So you know psi is a function of r, theta as well as phi. So psi is function of r, theta, phi. Capital R is function of r only, and y, capital Y is a function of theta and phi. So now we are going to separate radial part from the angular part, okay. Now see, y does not depend on r, so we can move it in front of the radial derivative. See, partial differential of psi with respect to r, okay, that implies partial differential of r into y with respect to r. So y is constant for when it derivatives with respect to small r, so it can be written like this. Similarly, see, y does not depend on r, okay. Similarly, r does not depend on the angular variables, means on theta and phi. It is independent of theta and phi. So when we look at it, see, we have 1 upon r square and differentiation, partial differential part with respect to into partial differential of, instead of psi we write r into y upon r, right, plus 1 upon r square sine theta, partial differential with respect to theta of sine theta into partial differential with respect to theta of r into y, plus 1 upon r square sine square theta, partial differential of r into y with respect to phi square, plus 2 mu upon h bar square, in bracket it is e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r into y equal to 0. right? Now see, for first term, this y is constant for it. Here r is constant. Here again r is constant. So take it out. See, it becomes y upon small r square into, now you can write it as complete derivative because capital R depends on r only. So you can write it as a complete derivative plus, here r is constant, take it out, r square into divided by r square into sine theta, and but it remains partial derivative because y depends upon theta as well as phi. Okay, plus 1 upon r square sine square theta. Now r is out of the derivative, y with respect to phi speed, plus 2 mu upon h bar square e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r into r y, okay, equal to 0. Now multiply the whole equation by r square. Multiply by r square and divide by ry, okay, and then we can separate them radial in the pause. So when we multiply it by r square, then it becomes, see, r square is cancelled here and divide by ry, so it becomes 1 upon r, right, d by dr of r square into, okay, plus again ry, so it becomes 1 upon r square cancel, r cancel, so it becomes y sine theta, and partial differential with respect to theta of sine theta and partial differential of y with respect to theta plus 1 upon y sine square theta, second partial differential of y with respect to phi, plus 2 mu r square upon h bar square e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r equal to 0, right? Now see, the first term and fourth term, first and fourth term depend on r only, and the middle terms, that is second and third, depend on theta and phi. Second and third terms depends upon theta and phi, right? And first and fourth term depends upon r only, okay? So they can only balance each other for all points in space if radial and angular terms are the same constant but with the opposite sign, because total sum is 0, right? So that means first and second term is equal to minus of second plus third term, then total sum is 0. They can only balance each other for all points in space if radial and angular terms, they are same, constant, but with opposite sign, right? So let us take a radial equation, that is 1 upon r d by dr r square into this plus 2 mu r square upon h bar square e plus z square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r, है ना? और pi epsilon naught r, okay, into okay into ry, na, sorry, I think it should be, yes, it is divided by r, okay. So to take it as a whole equation, we take it as a, that means d by dr of r square into dr upon dr, we multiply it by r, okay, 2 mu r square upon h bar square e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r, okay, into r and a on this side, so it is minus ar equal to 0, okay. So this is a radial equation, this is called radial equation, this is radial equation. Now angular equation, angular equation. So in angular equation, you know, second and fourth term, what was that? Okay, 1 upon y sine theta, partial differential of theta with respect to sine theta, and 1 upon y sine square theta, this whole term, okay. So if it is a, the angular part, it becomes 1 upon y 1 upon y sine theta and partial differential of theta of sine theta or plus 1 upon y sine square theta or partial differential of y with respect to phi, okay. So take it as equal to minus a, okay. Radial part is taken as equal to a, so it should be equal in magnitude but opposite in sign. So multiply by y, so it becomes 1 upon sine theta partial differential of theta, partial differential with respect to theta of sine theta 1 upon y partial differential of theta इसका y का है ना, प्लस 1 upon sine square theta and second partial differential of y with respect to phi, and it is a y, that is equal to 0, okay, where a is the separation constant, okay. So this is the angular equation, okay. So this a is separation factor, or we can say separation constant, right? Now, after separation of radial and angular part, let us separate the angular part into separating the angular part, separating the angular part into polar and azimuth parts. Okay, polar and azimuth part. Okay, now angular part still contains terms which depends on both theta and phi. Okay, so that it depends upon the theta and phi. So another separation of variables is needed. Okay, so we will replace y that depends on theta and phi into function of theta and phi. Okay, these are the two variables. Okay, single variable functions. One is belonging to theta and other into y. Now we should replacing y and the differentials. Okay, now separate them. So see, we had 1 upon sine theta, 1 upon sine theta partial differential with respect to theta of sine theta and partial differential of theta of function of theta and function of phi, right? Plus 1 upon sine square theta, second partial differential of theta into phi with respect to phi. Okay, plus a into theta into phi equal to 0. This was angular equation. Okay, now we replace y by theta and phi. Now let us multiply. Now see, this theta depends upon theta, but phi is constant for it. Here phi is constant for this differential and theta is constant for next differential. Am I right? So we will take them out. So it becomes 1 upon sine theta into phi, complete differential, because now it depends upon theta only. Okay, plus here we take it out, theta is out of the differential because that is constant for second partial differential with respect to phi, and complete second differential of phi, right, plus a function of theta and function of phi. Okay, now isolate the variables, divide the whole equation by theta and phi and multiply it by sine square theta. Multiply whole equation, multiply by sine square theta and divide by theta into phi. So first it becomes sine theta divided by function of theta dy d theta of sine theta into, okay, plus, yes, it become 1 upon phi, second partial differential respect to phi, plus a equal to, sorry, a into sine square theta, right, equal to 0. Now let us take another separating constant. Take b as separation constant, okay. So now see, equation number 1, this term 1 and term 3 depends upon theta only, and second term depends upon phi only, okay. Take first term as b and second term as minus b, okay. So what we get, sine theta over function of theta d by d theta of sine theta into, okay, plus a into sine square theta equal to b, and 1 upon phi, partial differential of function of phi with respect to phi, that is equal to minus b. So that implies this equation becomes, let's write it again. So now we get sine theta over function of theta d by d theta of sine theta plus a sine square theta minus b equal to 0. This is called polar part. The equation depends on theta only, that is called polar part of the equation, okay. And second is azimuth part, that is 1 upon function of phi this plus b is equal to 0. This is called azimuth part, okay. Now let us solve azimuth part that we have solved in rigid rotor, okay. Let us solve the azimuth equation. So when we solve the azimuth equation, you know, the azimuth equation is oh, okay, is 1 upon function of phi equal to 0. That implies it is equal to 0. So it is second order ordinary differential equation. This is second order ordinary differential equation, and we have solved it. B is taken as m square, B is equal to, it is taken as m square. So it is d square, the second partial differential with respect to phi of function of phi plus m square equal to 0. Okay, and this angle phi is called, is the azimuth angle. Okay, और m जो है that is an integer number. Okay, and what was the function of phi? This we have calculated, you know, as rigid rotor part में हमने इस सॉल्व की थी 1/2 pi e raised by iota m phi. So this is the solution of first equation. So this we have already done in a rigid rotor system. Okay, so the solution is 1/2 pi e raised power iota m phi, and where m is 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, and so on, right? And this constant m is called magnetic quantum number. Okay, so this is the first solution, means phi dependent equation, solution of phi dependent equation, and we come across the constant m, and that is called magnetic quantum number, and it represents the quantization of the z component of the angular momentum. Okay, what it represents? The quantization of z component of the angular momentum. Okay, so Lz 1/√2 pi e raised to power iota m phi, that is equal to h/2 pi iota partial differential of phi of 1/√2 pi e raised to power iota m phi, right? So in this way, when it is differentiated, what would we get? You know, h/2 pi iota remains as such into 1/√2 pi, and differentiation of e raised to power iota m phi. So it is iota m into e raised to power iota m phi. That implies, see, iota cancel, and it is m into h/2 pi and function 1/√2 pi e raised to power iota m phi, right? So we get the permitted value of the z component permitted values of z component of the angular momentum of the electron and is given by the expression yes, what is the value? That is m into h upon 2 pi, or we can write it as m into h bar. Okay. So this is solutions of the phi dependent equation. Up to this, it is the solution of the phi dependent equation. Now come to the next, that is solutions of, so this is azimuth equation and it is the solution of phi dependent equation. Now come to the second part, that is solutions of theta dependent equation. Okay. So you know that we have already discussed in again rigid rotor, but equation was sin theta upon function of theta d by theta of sin theta into d function of d theta plus a sin square theta, right, and that is equal to minus m, equal to m square. Okay. So now b is actually minus b, so it becomes minus m square equal to 0, right. See, equation was see, instead of b we write m square because b is taken as m square. Okay. Okay. So now rearrange this equation. So it becomes 1 upon sin theta d by theta of sin theta into differentiation of function of theta with respect to theta plus a, okay, and multiply. See, we have multiplied whole equation by theta and divide it by sin square theta to make the equation same as earlier. So a minus m square over sin square theta into equal to 0. Okay. So we can express the wave function as depending on cos theta rather than on theta itself. Okay. We make it like that. So see, p dependent on cos theta, that is equal to function of theta and theta, and x is equal to cos theta. x क्या ले लिया हमने बेटा? cos theta. So if x is cos theta, dx upon d theta is sin theta. So that implies d by d theta is equal to dx upon d theta into d by dx, that is equal to minus sin theta into d by dx. Okay, now come to the next part. It is 1 upon sine theta. Now, instead of d by d theta, what we write? We write minus sine theta into d by dx. So, it is minus sine theta into d by dx. See, 1 upon sine theta, d by d theta is replaced by minus sine theta into d by dx. Now, within bracket, it is sine into d theta by d theta of a function of theta. Now, function of theta is replaced by p. Okay, and d by d theta, it is minus sine theta into d dx. Instead of function of theta, we write now p, function of cos theta. Okay, plus e minus m square upon sine square theta into p equal to 0, right? Now, see, this equation we can take it as, see, sine theta cancel. Okay, and minus sign, minus plus, so it becomes d by dx of into dp upon dx plus a minus upon sine square into p equal to 0. Now, next part. Sine square theta plus that is equal to 1, and sine square theta is square theta, that is equal to 1. Okay, so just replace sine square theta by 1 minus x square theta. So, equation becomes d by x of 1 minus x square into dp by dx plus a minus m square upon 1 minus x square into p equal to 0. Just apply the product rule. Differentiation of 1 minus x square into dp by dx, differentiation of, then means first differential of second, second differential of first. So, देखो, first into differential of second, so it becomes d square dp x square, okay, plus second differential of first. So, differential of 1 minus x square is minus 2x only into dp by dx plus a minus m square upon 1 minus x square into p equal to 0, right? That means this equation becomes 1 minus x square, second partial differential of p with respect to x plus, sorry, minus 2x differential of p with respect to x plus a minus m square upon 1 minus x square into p equal to 0. Now, in this case, difference is that coefficients of this differential equation are not constant, but depends on x. So now to solve it, we have to use associated Legendre type differential equation. Actually, this type of equation is called associated Legendre type equation, Legendre type differential equation. Okay. This equation is also solved by us. You know, this equation we have solved, and solution was, yes, can you tell me? See, P, now there is another function, that is L. See, in the phi dependent equation there is a M. Now there is L as well. Okay, it is equal to N into P Lm cos theta. Okay, so what is N here? N is normalization constant. Okay, sorry, it can be okay. So N is normalization constant, and that N in rigid rotor we have done it. It is again 2L plus 1 by 2 L minus magnitude of M minus and plus, okay, L minus a magnitude of M factorial, L plus M factorial raised to power 1 by 2. Okay, and here x is, you know, x was cos theta. Okay, so P Lmx, that is equal to 1 upon 2 raised to power L into L factorial 1 minus x square raised to power M by 2, means magnitude of M. Okay, and differential of L plus M, L plus M of x square minus 1 raised to power L. Okay. Okay, and you know x was cos theta. M denotes the magnitude of the magnetic quantum number. Okay, so these here x is cos theta, that you know. Okay, so these solutions are obtained provided the following conditions are satisfied. And what was the conditions? L should be 0, 1, 2, 3, so on, and M is equal to 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 so on plus minus L. Okay, beta. Now this quantum number L, see here A is taken as L into L plus 1, L is taken as, sorry, A is taken as L into L plus 1. Like B, we have taken M square. A is L into L plus 1. Okay. On the basis of that, we have derived those solutions. Okay. And the quantum number L, these are all quantum numbers. Okay. And quantum number L is called the azimuthal quantum number. Azimuthal or subsidiary or angular quantum number. Okay. This is called azimuthal quantum number, or also known as subsidiary quantum number, and it represents the quantization of the square of the total angular momentum. Square of the total angular momentum. It is like L square it is equal to L into L plus 1 h upon 2 pi whole square. Okay. So this is the solution of the theta dependent equation, right? That means permitted value of the square of the angular momentum is L into L plus 1 h square upon 4 pi square. Okay. Got it? Like if we have M equal to 0 and L equal to 0, then P0L x, that comes out to be 1 only. And if M is 0, L equal to 1, then P1, P it 0 0 na, L and M. Okay. So P1 0, that comes out to be x only, and M equal to 0 and L equal to 2, then P2 0, that comes out to be 1 by 2. You can solve that equation, you will get those answers. Okay. So remember to P and X we should resubstitute. Okay. Now come to the solving the radial part of the equation. Solving the radial equation. See, there is only two substitutions, or we can say you should remember that B is taken as M square and A is taken as L into L plus 1. Rest are we have derived. Okay. Now in the radial equation, you know, it was d by dr. What was that? The equation, radial equation. Do you know? 1 upon r. Yes, it is d by dr of r square, differential of r, plus 2 mu r square upon h bar square e plus z e square upon 4 pi epsilon naught r into r minus A or A is L into L plus 1 into R equal to 0, right? So this is the radial equation. We have put the value of A as L into L plus 1. So again apply the product rule. So when we apply the product rule, it becomes first differential of second plus differential of first into second plus 2 mu R square upon H bar square E plus Z E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught R into R minus L into L plus 1 R equal to 0. Now divide by R square. Divide the whole equation by R square. So when we divide it by R square, then it becomes it is 2 by R plus E plus Z square upon 4 pi epsilon naught R minus L into L plus 1 upon R square into R equal to 0. Now see this equation, we can't solve it straight away, but if we suppose very large value of R, for very large R, what happened? See the term, this second term and fourth term, they are forced to be 0 because there is a reciprocal of R. So R is very large, so these values are very, very small. So we can take them as 0. So now the equation becomes, if R is very large, okay, so small r is very large, okay, so it becomes R infinity, okay, if R is very large. So capital R, that is wave function which depends upon small r, becomes R infinity plus 2, and this part also becomes 0 because it is also reciprocal of R. So it is 2 mu E by H bar square R infinity equal to 0, right? Now again this equation is just like that, this one, d square phi upon d phi square plus m square phi, okay, this equation is just like that. So now from here we can calculate the value of R infinity, right? We can calculate the value of infinity, R infinity. So R infinity from here can be, yes, can you tell me the value? Value comes out to be some constant, let us say some constant C1, C2, C3, C4. So take any constant C, okay, into e raised to power minus iota and square root of 2 mu E upon H bar square. This is normalization constant, okay? So take it as n only. See, in this case, solution was that phi comes out to be n was 1 upon √2 2 pi e raised to power iota m phi. Okay, same is the case here. Okay, so it becomes iota square root of 2 mu e upon h bar square into r, right? So in this way we get the r infinity. Okay, now if we solve it further, this is r infinity. Okay, so r nl means which depends upon, see, first was m, then l, now n also comes into picture, and it is equal to r infinity depending upon r into some constant, and e raised to power, it is 2 mu z e square r divided by 4 pi epsilon naught h bar square into n. Z, you know, it is nuclear charge, or we can say atomic number. And what about n? N is now, it is principal quantum number. Okay, n is principal quantum number. Okay, and the coefficient B naught, it is L dependence, it contains L dependence. I'm not going in detail of this equation, reason being it involves a lot of mathematics, and you know we are not mathematics students, we are studying chemistry. Okay, so we will keep in mind this equation as such. Okay, so solution of the radial part also fixes the possible energy levels by linking them to the quantum number n. Okay, so from the radial part, energy of the nth level, it comes out to be minus 2 pi square mu into z square e raised to power 4 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught raised to power 2 into n square into h bar square. Okay, sorry, h square only, huh? So this is the value at the end. Mu is, you know, reduced mass of the system. Okay, and E is magnitude of electronic charge. Epsilon naught, you know, permittivity of the free space, empty space, and you know principal quantum number, h Planck's constant. Okay, in this way we have solution of all the equations, means radial equations, azimuth equation, and polar equation, means angular as well as radial equations. Okay, so now putting the solutions all together, putting the partial solutions together, the full solution of the Schrödinger wave equation of hydrogen-like atom is, according to the separation approach, it is psi r theta phi is equal to r function of r, theta function of theta, phi function of phi, and you know it is radial part function of r depends upon n and l, and polar part that depends upon l and m, and last one that is phi part that depends upon m only. Okay, n is normalization constant. It includes the coefficients of each partial equation. Okay, so see, a radial part, radial wave function depends on n and l quantum numbers. Okay, and polar equation or polar wave function depends on L and M, and azimuth wave function depends on M only. Radial means R dependent, polar equation means theta dependent, and azimuth equation means phi dependent, right? So these are the three quantum numbers. Like if n equal to 1, then L is equal to 0 and M is also equal to 0. That you all know from class 11th, and it comes from the solution of the Schrodinger wave equation. N equal to 2, so L is equal to, yes, 0 or equal to 1, and accordingly M equal to 0 or M equal to -1, 0 and +1. And if N equal to 3, then L equal to either 0, 1 or 2. And if L is 0, M is 0. If L is 1, M is -1, 0 and +1. And if L is 2, M is -1, sorry, -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. Okay, and energy of the state, that is of the wave function, depends only on n, but not on the other quantum numbers. And this degeneration is only strictly true for the hydrogen-like atom, not for others. Okay, only for hydrogen-like atoms. Okay, accordingly we can see n is for shell, L is for subshell, M is for orbital. Spin quantum number is independent. It is not obtained from the solution of Schrodinger wave equation. Okay, and for first shell there is only one subshell. For second shell there are two subshells, 0 and 1. For third shell there are three subshells, that is 0, 1, 2. And accordingly, if L is 0, there is only one orbital in the first subshell. In the L equal to 1, means in this subshell there are 3 orbitals. In L equal to 2, there are 5 orbitals, and this is S subshell, P subshell, D subshell. That's all about the solutions of the Schrodinger wave equation for hydrogen atom. Thank you for your patience and active learning. Thank you so much. All the best, guys. Bye for now. Have a great day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.